Hello, everybody. It is me, Brian Valsino, and I am here with my co-host today, Gio Ramos. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. I just finished watching the episode like a minute before I jumped on,
Oh my
so
God.
it is fresh in my mind.
I've watched it twice already.
Oh, nice.
I stayed up till midnight, and then I watched it one more time before this. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I was at work, but I
you were
was,
working.
yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a pretty eventful week. Our first time going back to the movie theaters in over a year, and it was a nice welcoming. I'm sure we'll talk about it more on Tuesday's show. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about this episode, man. I really enjoyed it. Spoiler.
How's that spoiler? That you liked it?
I don't know. We usually like to build up to our, what'd you think of the episode? Well,
That's fair.
let me think. This. No.
So then, what did you think?
What?
So then, what did you think of the episode?
Oh, dude, like I just okay. Zemo is starting to, I'm starting to get on the whole Zemo train. What?
My boy, right there.
Oh, that's him right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you know how I felt about him in Civil War, okay? I was just like, okay. I mean, his plan was like, man, it started reaching. It started reaching as far as like things that were happening, and I was just like, okay, all right. But going into this episode, just the first time we see him on screen, he starts saying the words, and it's just like, oh, he wants to see if there's something still there. And you know what? I think I agree with him. I think there's something that's still there in Winter Soldier Bucky. But yeah, I enjoy seeing the three of them together. Like, give me a couple more episodes of those three. I was expecting to see Zemo kind of turn on them at some point. When he's walking with a mask. I know I'm jumping all over the place.
Yeah, you're just saying the whole entire episode at this point.
Okay, well then you lead it. You lead the way. And
No. I'm listening up. Go for it.
Well, yeah, when he's walking with a mask after, they're sort of trapped because, there's a hit on them and all the bounties or the hunters are going after him. I was like, oh, here it is. He's going to turn now because he put the mask on, There was a moment that show intentionally showed the mask and focused on it. But no, he continues to help, and their adventures continue into the new episodes. Have we seen the last of Sharon Carter?
Absolutely not.
But think so?
No, God no. I liked it. I thought it was a really good episode. Probably, I don't know if I'd say it's the best.
I like the second episode.
I teeter a little bit
with Isaiah. Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure if I'm ready to call it the best. It was definitely good. Finally got into Zemo. I mean, we picked up pretty much exactly where we left off almost. Them on their way or about to visit Zemo. And clearly Bucky is all for it, but Sam is not. Sam does
not trust him at all.
Yeah, Sam was not very pleased. And I mean, I think Bucky kind of knew that was going to happen. But I mean, we did also see before that John Walker trying to basically track down Carly in that like computer place before that they were in.
Yeah.
And then the guy spits in his face, just like no respect for this guy. Like, you're not Captain America. I don't need to respect you. And then kind of you see that little bit of angry.
Oh, he's getting frustrated. I personally think every time I see John Walker, he looks like he's about to like explode, like he's very temperamental. Reminded me of, oh God, I'm going to say this, but Dan Stevens and The Guest. Like,
Oh God.
I get those vibes. Jake was there.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
He just seems very much like ready to snap at any point. Like, and I think that might become a thing where it's like he doesn't have the temperament to be Captain America and makes questionable choices for the mission in his mind, though.
Well, I mean, up until that point, I felt like he was aside from the gun, which, I mean, people say Captain America used the gun as well during, World War, was it one or two? Two? It was two, yeah.
World War One was Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yeah. I was just talking about Wonder Woman, that's why. But, yeah, I mean, up until that point, I think he was doing a solid job, he doesn't have the serum. He's being paraded around. What?
Not yet. He's for sure gonna take that serum. He's gonna get hold of it.
If he had the serum in him when the guy spin his. Yeah.
This made me think he's gonna find it, put it in, and he's gonna be very unstable.
Oh yeah. It's definitely heading toward that way. But for right now, I mean, he's doing an okay job. He's trying to find leads. He's trying to do things the right way. And it's toward the end of the episode where, his right-hand man, Battlestar, is like, oh, this is going to be off the books, right? He's like, well, yeah, look at what they're doing. They're clearly not following, the right way, the process of doing things. So why should we? It's a fair question, right? So I'm excited to see where they go from there. How much are they willing to do things off the books? But yeah, man, it's just back to Zemo and Winter Soldier, and in this episode, it was definitely a return of Winter Soldier. I like the walking through the club, and they're like, you got to put on this image. We're undercover, and they got Bucky to get back into Winter Soldier mode, even though he was playing it off. But him obeying the commands and seeing him fight to the sounds of Henry Jackman's score from the Winter Soldier and Civil War.
You're bouncing all over the place.
What's up?
I said you're bouncing all over the place.
I mean, you're the host.
You're going straight to the action. You gotta get lead up too.
Well, go ahead. Do it.
No, I'm just we have them free. Well, I shouldn't say them. Falcon had no idea, but we have why am I drawing blank? Bucky, Winter Soldier, maybe having a hand in helping get Zemo out.
The prison break sequence.
The prison very much seemed like a old heist where he's like, all right, this is what you got to do. You got to do this and this and this. And then it shows Zemo doing all of these things and then starting the fight in the prison. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Zemo walks in. Sam is pissed. But only to kind of really have a conversation that they actually need him. Otherwise, they don't know what to do. So what did you think about the prison scene, though?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, it's
the breakout
better in Ghost Protocol. Remember when Tom Cruise broke out of prison? That was pretty cool. This one was okay. He just I think it happened a little too easy, but it was just they don't have time. They got to get moving. They got 6 episodes to get this thing going. But yeah, there was clearly a distrust between Zemo, Bucky. And it's one thing for Bucky and Sam to have their a little bit of tension, but then you throw Zemo in there, and then they find out that he's rich. He comes from.
He is a baron, hence the name in the comics, Baron Zemo. He's a baron of Sokovia.
Yeah.
Baron of what once was Sokovia. To which he very much said that he made sure they knew that Sokovia is not there. He said it multiple times that like other countries just swarmed on the land. There's nothing left of it. Mm-hmm. He was a baron in Sokovia, so he's thrown little subtle daggers at him.
I like later on. I know we're jumping, but he asks Sam and Bucky, "Have either of you visited Sokovia and the memorials here?" Yeah, I thought so. And a couple times in this episode, they challenged the idea of heroes and all that. And you even see, well, we'll talk about Sharon Carter, but I guess we're going through the episode, right?
Yeah.
So they go on a plane.
There's not too much before we get to that left, other than them getting on the plane, which I think you're about to talk about.
Yeah, so they get on the plane. They find out they have to go to I don't know what the name is. Macropore.
Madripoor.
Whatever. They go to another place. They have to go to another place to go and find out more information. And that's when they decide to put on, this image. Baron Zemo is still himself. Bucky has to turn into the Winter Soldier again. And Sam, who does he turn into? He's like a
smiley eyes. Was a smiley eyes?
Some Smiley King? Or
it was something smiley something. Someone can say.
Right, yeah. So they go into this what is it, like an underground club or something like that?
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. They're walking through. Zemo's like, telling him, get ready, young man, make it. Smiling Tiger, thank you. Yes. But we'll get to Zemo's dance moves. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but
doing a little fist bump to the side.
Yeah. But dude, one of the laugh out loud sequences, and I've done this like 3 times already in this show. He's like, the bartender's like, "You'll have your usual?" He's like, yeah, I'll have my usual. He brings out a snake, cuts it open, pours it, and Sam is just like, "Cheers."
Yeah.
He just takes it. He has to keep
like many others.
I'm just like, yes, this is what I came for this show. It's these moments that I knew would happen. It's just, it's so hilarious. But then it leads to, Winter Soldier going and just beating up all the bouncers and all the armed guards and just, and again, Henry Jackman's music, like the Civil War, the Winter Soldier themes. I was hearing
that.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Brought me right back. You could hear that noise in anything and know exactly what that means. Like that's one of the. If you hear that scream noise, you immediately go Winter Soldier. Like there's no if, ands, or what about it. You're immediately like, all right, the Winter Soldier. So I love that. It was used perfectly too. Right.
Yeah, and again, we see more about what this show promised, which was it's going to be pretty violent. The fight sequences are pretty violent. Bones are being broken. People are getting stabbed. We'll get to the fighting that happens when Sharon Carter decides to throw down around the crates.
Mm-hmm.
But they go and meet who is that person? Like some.
She's basically one of the power broker's underlings. She's kind of like if the power broker was the governor, or excuse me, if the power broker was the emperor, they'd be one of his regional governors, like Tarkin or something, where it's just like they're spread out because they've mentioned a couple people's names. And she just seems to be the one that had the connection to Zemo and know where this serum doctor guy is.
Yeah, so they go to meet one person just to find out they have to go and meet another person. This person is like offered. I'm saying this person because I don't remember their names, okay? But Zemo makes an offering. Hey, I'll give you the Winter Soldier and all the commands if you give us more information. But their meeting is interrupted by Sam's sister. And I like how she tells him,
Sarah.
yeah, Sarah, answer the phone and put it on speaker. and
Smart.
Mackey's doing his best to, Sam, he's doing his best to, maintain the image, like, yeah, I'm gonna have that banker killed, and that's right, I'm a big timer, and whatnot, and of course that fails, and they,
When she says, I have to call you back, Sam.
yeah, Sam, and that was it. They kind of fight their way out a little bit. Well, lady gets shot. And as they're escaping,
By Sharon, I was calling. I'm saying Sharon shot her.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. And as they're escaping, more people are getting shot, and they're making their way out. And they're like, "Who's doing this? Who's the guardian?" Yeah. And it turns out
after she gets shot, that's when the bounty starts blowing up all over phones.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure I saw a Bitcoin reference, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 1,000 Bitcoins for whoever kills them. So, yeah.
Now, depending on where Bitcoin goes in the next couple of years, we're either going to look back at it and laugh, or we're going to be like, "Oh yeah, cool, Bitcoin was on the rise." So, yeah. That'll be fun.
It says Selby dead, 1,000 Bitcoin bounty for her killers.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a bounty on them, and that, follows them all the way to their meeting with the serum guy. But how about Sharon Carter? She's back.
She's back. She's pissed off, and she's whooping ass. It's funny because she says that she has basically now built this life in Madripoor because she's been exiled out of the United States, and kind of seems to hold a grudge against Steve and Bucky and Sam. Am I forgetting anyone? I feel like there was one other one that she was pissed off at. Well, obviously,
pretty much all of them, because she can't talk to her family, or nobody knows where she is. She's off the grid. She broke out the shield, the wings.
Yeah.
So that way help them, take down him. And I enjoyed that sequence. But yeah, man, she's on the run, and she's but this is what I was talking about earlier. What
she has created a decent life in Madripoor. Like, obviously it's not home, but she's not doing horribly bad. Like, she isn't some like living on the streets, like homeless person. Like, she has a job as kind of like an underground art procurer, and she apparently throws club parties at the same time, to which we got to see some sweet, sweet dance moves from Timo.
It is dancing.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to say she's made the best of the situation, because the situation is not ideal, but she isn't doing horrible. Like, she seems to have a certain level of respect and power in that little sector of Madripoor, because she's living in Hightown, not Lowtown.
Yeah.
And they said before that you don't want to be in Lowtown unless you got some dirty business.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm curious. I 100% don't think we're done with her. Because of that reason, of that she seems to be more important than alluding to in Madripoor. So, but yeah, but I mean, we see them make small talk about it, and then she is clearly upset and blaming very much all of her problems on Steve and Sam, and a little bit more, I want to say, towards Steve, which kind of actually made me a little bit upset with Captain America. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like coming out of this, it kind of pissed me off that he just kind of was like, thanks for the help. I know you're gonna get screwed, but I got other stuff to do. Because he didn't, I mean, once she gave him the stuff, it seems like it was like, you're on your own from there on out. And to Rachel, it does not seem like she got blipped. Because she was I'm assuming she was able to do all this in the 5 years that the blip was happening.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. How did you feel about it? Her being pissed off about what had happened to her.
I mean, it was kind of music to my ears because it's like, okay, I get it. Cap is this person, he's this and this, but like, you guys are thinking about like, well, what about the people and what they lost in Sokovia? You know, the moves that you guys make. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're saving lives and you're saving the world, but there's gonna be some sort of, what do you call it, collateral damage in this case. You know,
well, yeah. In this case, it's definitely collateral damage. She was part of it. Like, in order to help Captain America, she was the one that was going to go down for it. Collateral damage just to the Avengers, essentially.
Yeah, and you know, she decides to finally help because Sam is like, well, hey, look, I'm an Avenger. You know, let me dangle some keys, and the keys are, you know, you're able to come back to home to the U.S. You get pardoned, and yeah, she's able to help them out. They go to this crate where apparently the scientists who successfully created the serum after. I believe it was Stanley Tucci's character, right? In the first.
Yeah, so
Avenger.
He is the first person since Stanley Tucci's character to successfully create the serum without the side effects of Steve, like ginormous muscles and super strength. Well, I mean, they have super strength, but like, you know, where they change their looks and change their body. He just made a plain old super soldier serum that makes them strong.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the problem is he only made so much because he blipped. He only had made those 20 vials of it and then blipped and then hasn't been able to do it since he got back.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously gets taken out.
Right. Yeah.
So he ain't making any more.
Well, I mean, that's Zemo saying he's going to finish what he started. You know, he's not somebody who, you know, leaves his, you know, unfinished missions, you know, unfinished. So he did follow through with what he was going to say. Huh?
Because I was going to say, because Zemo does not want Winter Soldiers around. He's trying to shut. That's his mission. That he says his mission is unfinished if there are super soldiers around, especially if they're now making more. So, yeah.
So, in a sense, mission accomplished for him. But while all that's going on, well, right before that, Sharon Carter's kicking ass. I mean, she is.
Who said it earlier? Where is it? Keep going. You can talk.
John.
She like single-handedly killed like 20 people. Like this whole episode. And like 17 of them were them trying to come at her while she's protecting them in the crate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did not hesitate at all. 3 guys walked past, and she went up behind them and started taking them on. And you know, it was kind of nice to see, you know, because I got an indication that that's what her character was like, and you know, Winter Soldier and Civil War. And I've been wanting to see more of that. You know, it's just, I mean, I'm happy for, you know, characters like Black Widow and whatnot, but bring on some more female badasses. Come on, let's go. yeah, she's kicking ass the whole time. She makes it back to the experimentation lab. Guy gets gunned down by Zemo. A big explosion happens.
Yeah, guy uses a bazooka to try to blow them all up. It just destroys the lab. So bye-bye serum, and definitely bye-bye doctor.
I'm sure there's somebody else out there making serum
At some point, but bye-bye perfect recipe.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And then so they're trapped. And again, this is where I thought Zemo would escape or turn on them or whatnot.
Yeah, I agree. This
I
is
was
where
like, oh, he's reaching for a gun. Here we go.
Yep.
But no, he makes a theatrical reentrance when he takes his time putting on the mask, and meanwhile people down there are shooting at them, and then he just jumps down and then starts, beating the crap out of them, and
he shoots the gas line and just explodes like 5.
The gas line, yes, yeah, and then he goes John Wick on them. Somebody said John Wick in the chat. I don't know who, but yeah, and then he goes back, grabs a God, what's the term? A car. What did you say? A supercharger?
Supercharged car.
Yeah, sorry. Supercharger, and they jump in. I was hoping Sharon Carter would go with them, but she has some other things she tries to take care of. The last time we see her on screen, she's saying we have not one but two big problems.
We have a problem. Well, a few problems.
Yeah, and so I guess we'll see her back. Maybe
I'm not 100% convinced that she is not the power broker.
I mean, yeah, I don't see why not. Like I said, 5 years is a long time over there. You can do a lot of stuff, and mind you, we're not talking about 5 years and half the world. Like half the world's military forces and security personnel are all gone. Like things are amok wherever they're at, and somebody just said that.
Yes, Ralph Boner is the power broker. Damn him.
Oh, I love that, man. See, it's okay to poke fun. We're not being triggered here, so keep going.
To what Rachel you're saying, yeah, we don't know. I mean, for me, I took it as that she didn't blip, but there also is there's nothing saying that she did. But I would assume that if she has done all of what she said she's been doing, I can't remember how much longer this is taking place after the blip, because I'm pretty sure it's something like 3 months, I want to say.
Couple months. Yeah.
She ain't no powerful art dealer in a pirate style country that is doing all this in 3 months. Okay, it's 6 months. 6 months. That I'm sorry. I would have a hard time believing that someone can go from being on the run as an basically almost international criminal to what she is technically kind of pulling off in Madripoor. That's not enough time. If she did, she's a gangster, because that's pretty awesome. But I mean, to me, I took the impression that she did not blip, and she's been building this life in Madripoor, because she was living in Hightown. Yeah, exactly. That too, John. She's not as jaded and stuff like that. Like 6 months, like I would still be kind of pissed off if someone wronged me in 6 months. She was like, she's that bitter that something has been pissing her off for a while. So that's how I took it. I could be completely wrong. She could have blipped and done all this in 6 months. But my impression was that she did not blip, and that she's been on the run since the second she handed over that stuff in Civil War.
And I think that's something that she would have mentioned, that she went away. I mean, and came back, like, because, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
You blip, like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I've been gone for 5 years. She didn't say that. She's been busy,
Yeah.
making a life of her own because, like we've talked about, she can't go back. I would like to see her go back though at some point. I think that would be pretty cool and have a prominent role in the MCU going forward. I think we're building to that, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, they go to where do they go to next? Some other place.
Well, so we see after that we see the flag smashers blow up that building.
They're just trying to gather more resources, right?
Well, yeah. So we know that there's kind of these like blip camps for people that are trying to readjust after the blip.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not kind of what they seem. They kind of seem to be a little bit sketchy.
Right.
And like she said that when they took the supplies, you've got 6 months worth of supplies just sitting there. And then they proceed to blow up the building with the people inside them. And
her words that
yes.
followed, right? It was like, this is the only message that they
this is the only language they understand.
Yeah.
Like
I said, pretty violent, man. Pretty violent stuff for an MCU show.
She isn't as innocent as she looks. Like, she's definitely kind of a killer. Well, I mean,
kind of a killer.
She is a killer at this point. But yeah, so we didn't see much of the flag smashers. It was pretty much that scene, and then who I'm assuming her mother when she died in the ward.
Right.
But yeah, we see that explosion, and then it goes to John Walker going to Zemo's prison cell, or the prison that he was in, where they are like, this is he got out because of Bucky and Sam. And John Walker is clearly like, I don't care if we have to break the rules. We'll be heroes if we make it work. Like,
and see, that's what. Look, I get it. Okay, he becomes a not so good guy later on, but I'm talking about right now. Like, why does he have to be held to a higher standard where he can't do things off the books? And I just hear so many people criticizing him early on, and it's just like, well, wait, he's trying to do the right thing.
I think where the criticism comes into play, and it was kind of mentioned, was the fact that Cap purposely refused to sign the Sokovia Accords so that way he would not be turned into what John Walker is, and that is an agent of the government. His Captain America is very different than Steve's, because his Captain America, John Walker, is following the lead of the U.S. government. He is not thinking on his own. He is doing what they want him to do. Whereas Steve Rogers just did whatever he thought was right. So, I mean, John Walker has to basically kind of like get permission to do things like tracking down people from another country that might be in a danger to something American. So I think that's where the double standard, if you will, kind of gets crossed. Yeah, like John said, Steve Rogers would have rather Zemo rot than do that. So I think that's, where it is. Yes, he did, Chuck. Yes, he did.
I mean, there's no argument there, but at least John Walker's trying and not giving up the shield like another person who, again, I like that they continue that. He's reminded that you should not have given up the shield. And what does Sam say later on? Because from there, they're back on a plane, right? They're trying to figure out where the next stop is, and they figure that out. But before that, there's a conversation where Sam is like, I should have never given the shield, I think he says, and correct me if I'm wrong. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but he says, I should have never given up the shield. In fact, I should have destroyed it, I believe is what he said.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, to which Bucky was like, I would have taken it from you before you would try to destroy it.
Because it means more to some people than others, or a lot more people than others, right? I mean, that shield is a symbol, it's so symbolic, obviously. Had they kept it in the Smithsonian, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal as now you have John Walker running around with the shield, who gets zero respect from even citizens. Like, you can't even call that person.
Well, the criminals don't even look at him as a threat.
Right.
So yeah. To an earlier comment, hold on. Since we're at that point, do we think any of the references in the name list? I don't think so.
I mean, it was a quick shot. I got to look at it again, to be frank.
Well, it was Bucky's make amends list, if you will. And I think he just did that to piss off Bucky. And just kind of like he knows what buttons to push with Bucky. Like, it's very clear. Like, so yeah, I think he was just trying to piss him off.
And so and this is no spoiler here, there is clearly going to be a confrontation between Bucky and Zemo.
Absolutely.
There's a shot in the trailer where he has a gun pointed, but all the bullets are falling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that means in context, but we know that at some point the two of them are gonna, I would love to see a fight scene, like, Zemo versus Bucky, even if it doesn't go anywhere.
Well, I hope so, because Zemo is in the comics, he's like a master of hand-to-hand combat, which would be kind of dope to see. But
we saw some of that after.
Yeah, we saw some of that, but I mean, I don't know if they're gonna go to that level right off in this. I'm hoping, and I've been saying this like almost every episode, I almost kind of hope he doesn't do anything so nefariously bad that, I mean, he's already done bad stuff, but like, I really want him to be the leader of the Thunderbolts. I really, really want a bad guy superhero squad. And he's very much willing to jump on the good or bad side.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he would be the perfect leader of that. So I'm hoping they don't like kill him, or he doesn't do anything like horribly, like, I mean, he's already done horrible things.
He's done quite a bit. Yeah.
But like, it's been a while. So like, I don't know. I'm just hoping they somehow keep him around to do certain things. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, and so you've mentioned this a couple of times. Do you mind giving like a brief description of the Thunderbolts to those who may not?
So the Thunderbolts are essentially people that it's like, imagine like the Suicide Squad kind of.
That's what I was thinking of.
Less like, you don't want them to die. Like, they're not expendable characters. They're like actual Marvel characters, but they aren't necessarily good guys.
Anti-heroes.
Yes. And they've been typically led by General Ross.
Thunderbolt, yeah.
Thunderbolt Ross. And yeah, they're, I mean, I believe in Civil War, they are actually used at the comics. They are actually used as a means of rounding up Cap's forces. So like they get to be good guys, but they're bad guys doing the government's work in the sense of capturing Captain America and his forces. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it does. Yeah. So they're given pretty much a license to go and complete missions in the interest of the U.S., the United States.
Yeah, but
and
they don't always have the best intentions around it,
right?
Because
Like they don't care about civilian casualties as long as
yeah,
it's done.
Yeah. So God, I hope that happens. Just because I mean it'd be kind of cool to see a bad guy team doing things. But we'll see. I don't know. But we still have that ending scene because that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah. So they go to their next destination, and Bucky's like, "I'm gonna go take a walk." And I wasn't expecting who would show up. All right, I started seeing the little devices, the Wakanda devices, which I didn't even think about that. I was like, okay, so someone's clearly onto them.
I saw it and went, no. I was like, no, there's no way they're bringing any Black Panther stuff into this. And then there was one. I was like, maybe that's coincidence. Then there was two. And then you start to hear the music and you go, oh boy. And then it's Ayo from Civil War, Move or I Will Move You.
Yeah. She's back, man. I was like, oh, they're going to do that, man. This is as if having the three of them together, there wasn't enough tension. Let's throw in a Wakanda in there.
Well, and
see what happens.
They cleverly alluded to it too, in a way, because they were like, I believe the line was something along the lines of like, Wakanda still remembers him because they killed King T'Chaka. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, guess who shows up? A Wakandan. And she is not having it. I'm back for Zemo. That's what she said.
Now, let me ask you this, and this gets into a little bit of a sensitive topic here, but if the late Chadwick was still with us,
would he have involvement in this?
Would he have been the one to show up, or do you think that's a little bit too much?
I think it's a little too much because I don't think he would have waited. He would have just found Zemo and killed him. Like, I think they're trying to be, I don't know if diplomatic is the right word, but they're trying to give him the chance. Like, they clearly were going for Bucky. Like, she could have just dropped down and been like, give me him. But, I mean, they're playing that White Wolf card. Yeah, I know. Panther didn't want him dead at the end, but
yeah, I was gonna say Panther kind of turned.
He didn't, but he would have snatched his ass and just taken him back to Wakanda. He wouldn't have been like, "Hey, so can you guys like let me have him?" Like, she's being diplomatic in a way. Like, he would have just snatched him and taken him back. But Chuck, he might have made peace with him, but they still want his ass. Like, he took out their king before T'Challa. So, I mean,
he died in front of T'Challa.
Yeah,
in person, man.
They want him.
Especially now that he's not in the prison anymore. Yeah, that is not sitting well. You can imagine as soon as they found out, they were like, nope, here we go. Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see where it goes from here because I don't know. Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, so, what? I don't think she was the guard that was guarding T'Chaka because she would have probably died in the explosion. She was T'Challa's guard in Civil War. Because she was the one that went up to Black Widow and told her to move.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was T'Chaka's. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Yeah, exactly. This is the main reason. Because you have Black Panther show up in this, it's going to overshadow the show. Like, I mean, look at how much we're talking about Wakanda now, how excited we are seeing someone from Wakanda. Like,
I had to restrain myself in the beginning of the episode from jumping straight to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm very curious because ain't no way he going back to Wakanda, or at least without a fight. But at the same time, I feel like Bucky kind of owes them. So it's like, because I mean,
first, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see, because if he gets taken back to Wakanda, that's a whole different ball game. I don't even know what would happen. I mean, in that situation, I have a feeling that by the end of this, he's going to just be on his own. He'll have.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go back to Wakanda.
But yeah, we might see a few more Dora Milaje. I wouldn't be surprised.
Are we going to see the Dora join the fight? Will this be like a brief appearance in the next episode, and then
I think it might just be a brief thing, and maybe they say something along the lines of like, "You've got 3 days to bring it back to us," and then he just gets away and doesn't come back. Because I do not see Zemo being taken to Wakanda. I also, Stardrew, I don't think that she's going to be working with Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter is going to be, her own thing.
What if she decides, you know what? I don't want to go back to the U.S. Like,
who, Sharon?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, she clearly has some type of power there. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100. I'm more on the side of no, but there's still that little part of me that thinks she's the power broker. Like 15% of me. Yeah, she's working with someone. She's either working with someone or she's more powerful than we know. Connection wise. Yeah, she's not some innocent person. She's up to something. And you know what, to be honest, I don't really blame her. I mean, she kind of got screwed. So we'll see. I really hope that she doesn't become a bad guy, because that would just be kind of weird. But I don't know.
Man, I don't know. It just reminds me of, I know this is Marvel Rewind, but it reminds me of The Dark Knight, and when Joker tells Batman, you'll see, when the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll cast you out,
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, and that's exactly what happened to her. She did what needed to be done, but then people were like, all right, cool, we don't need you anymore. You're on your own. So she basically kind of got used. And so,
think about Isaiah too, like when Bucky and Sam looked at each other in the episode and they were like, Isaiah. They didn't want to say it out loud, but that's who they were clearly thinking of.
Yeah. John, I think that there's I think you're right. There's 0% chance, I think, that Zemo could be the power broker. He would be he's so against the super soldier serum, he wouldn't allow it in the first place.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense unless he had a change of heart, which at this point is kind of, there's no reason to think that he would have a change of heart. Like, his whole story is blaming Avengers, these super powered people, for destroying his country, and the Winter Soldiers for doing all these horrible things. It's too far out of his MO. Power brokerage seems to just be like Kingpin, essentially. This like mob boss running crap to make some money. So, and power.
I think we have to find out by the next episode, right? Because there's only 3 left.
Right? Yeah, there's 3 left. Wait, find out what?
Who the power broker is, right?
If not the next one, it has to be 5.
Yeah.
Unless the power broker is not important as we think he is. But this episode was named Power Broker. So I would assume that person needs to be at least somewhat important.
Yeah.
That would be a sweet twist, John.
Well, let's to wrap up the show, because I know we're close. Let's preview the next episode. Will the power broker be revealed? I lean more toward yes. I didn't even consider Battlestar. I mean, I kind of like Battlestar more along, like, he's John Walker's right hand, and the two of them go bad, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like what they have going on there.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Battlestar is kind of like he grounds him. So I think personally Battlestar is going to get killed, and that might send him over.
Don't say that, man.
I think that he is somehow going to get killed, and either before or after that death, he's going to take the serum, and that's going to make him lose it.
Man, I think you just spoiled. I don't think I need to watch next.
No, but
no, I think you might be right. As much as I don't want to see it, because again, the two of them together, like, I want to see more of that. But there's only 3 episodes left. I think next episode if you thought John Walker was cruel, you wait. Next episode, I'm calling it right now. Off the books. Okay.
I think we'll see more Flag Smashers next episode with John Walker. He might catch up to them a little bit.
Okay, can I say something? Like, I don't really care that much about the Flag Smashers.
Flag Smashers are not that important. They're honestly, they're there to be the people that have the serum. That's what I think. John Walker is going to find the Flag Smashers before Bucky and them find it. Hence how he's going to get his hands on the serum. And then some battle is going to go down where they're all together, and he probably turns.
Is there a possibility John Walker confronts the Flag Smashers, gets his ass handed to him a second time, stumbles upon the serum, takes it, kills most, if not all, of the Flag Smashers?
Probably. He's not going to do good things. He's going to take the law into his own hands because he's Captain America. And that's not how it works. So, and I agree with Chuck. I think we're going to see a lot more of him next week. I think he might be one of the main focuses next week. Yeah, and Flag Smashers are just a catalyst. They're the things that are pushing the story. Like, they're the people that are giving them their mission, if you will, to tell the story.
Well, that would be
Rachel, I don't think you're wrong.
turn.
After today, I don't think you're wrong.
Oh man. And what if it's old Cap who's hiding, who has to talk some sense into her? He has to come out of his cave.
No.
And you wouldn't find that interesting?
No.
Sharon Carter gone bad, destruction, and then she turns around.
I think she's going to be bad. I don't think Steve is going to show up, if that's what you're saying.
I don't know. I mean, like we've talked about it before. Steve clearly has a presence in this show, even without him being.
Yes, but there's also 5 other Captain Americas in this show. There's more of a chance of seeing Isaiah, the Black Captain America, than there is Steve.
If I had to pick, I would rather. Yes, I would love to see more of Isaiah.
So would I. So would I.
Yeah.
I think he's a fantastic story.
And this is an interesting point, John, right here. They did, that guy's reaction when the car exploded is like, there were people in there, like, come on now. Let's, we have these gifts. Let's be decent.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a quote from Steve Jobs: "You can be decent and gifted at the same time." But anyways, anything else you want to bring up as far as previewing the next episode? Anything like,
I think we'll see more John Walker next week. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the confrontation between the Wakandan and
Ayo.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Her and Zemo. Like, that's going to be interesting. Man, a lot of exciting stuff this episode. But yeah, Brian, I think we're about done. Yeah,
I think so. Well, that is going to do it for Gio and I doing the Marvel Rewind. Who needs those other guys at this point?
Yeah, let us know for this way. We're just all over the place, literally jumping from beginning to end to middle to end to whatever.
But thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for just throwing all your ideas and everything in the chat. This was fun to be able to kind of bounce ideas off everyone. So if you have any ideas that you are watching this at a later time, want to throw at us, leave it in the comments. And we will see you guys next week for the 4th episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. See you guys.
All right.